We are talking about the skin and its relationship to connective tissue. I want to touch on, before we continue about the skin and connective tissue, I want to touch on a subject that I think is super, super fascinating and very relevant, but it's something that is not acknowledged, or at least not acknowledged by mainstream medicine. Alternative practitioners acknowledge this really interesting fact about connective tissue, and that is the fact that connective tissue has an electrical nature. It has an electrical and information storage capacity. It's an information storage device. Our body is made up of 40% connective tissue, and this connective tissue is, in essence, a living biological computer. We've said this so many times before, that there's an important electrical nature to the physical body. There's an important electrical component to health and wellness, but we've really only talked about this bioelectricity or this bioelectrical phenomena in terms of cells. But as it turns out, it's not just cells. In addition to cell electricity, we also have tissue electricity, specifically connective tissue electricity. This, in essence, allows connective tissue to create an electronic field which integrates the entire body from head to toe into one homogeneous entity. This is the principle of integration and unification in the body. The body's a field. It's an electrical field, and largely this electrical field is generated by connective tissue. By definition, a field is an area that acts as a unit, even though the distances between points in the field may be separate. Like a baseball field, for example, is one unit, even though first base and second base and third base and home plate are all in separate areas in the field. In essence, the field is one unit. That's the definition of a field. It may have a bunch of separate points that look like they're not connected, but because they're a field, if they're a field, it's all connected into one homogeneous entity. The integrated connective tissue field explains how acupuncture works. Acupuncturists will stick needles in at one part of the body and one part of the connective tissue field, and they'll get an effect in a completely different part of the body. They'll stick a needle in your ear and get an effect in your spleen. My brother quit smoking when they stuck needles in his ear. People can eliminate pain by sticking needles in, or having acupuncturists, that is, stick needles in various parts of the body. Specifically, acupuncturists will work in a very specific type of connective tissue called fascia. Fascia, fascia. This is where we get the word fascist. Fascia, or fascist, or fascism means to tie together. And the fascia is a part of connective tissue that covers our organs and glands in different parts of the body. By sticking needles into various parts of the fascia, the connective tissue fascia, you can disrupt electrical charges and create changes in different parts of the body. Via these field effects, you can probe a part of the connective tissue in your fingertip, or between your fingers perhaps, or in your earlobe, and you can get effects generated in the lungs, or effects generated in the spleen, or effects generated in the various joints of the body. Pain can be relieved by placing acupuncture needles and other connective tissue points. And as I said, you can eliminate addictive behaviors by sticking needles in various connective tissue fascia acupuncture points. I remember when I was growing up back in the 60s and 70s, they used to laugh about acupuncture. People used to think, oh, how silly, you could stick needles in the body and get effects in the body. Well, this is because we didn't really know. Well, scientists probably knew, but mainstream medicine and mainstream folks didn't realize that there was this whole integrated aspect to the body via connective tissue. But when you understand that the connective tissue operates as a field and it connects the entire body, head to toe, connects the top of your scalp to the bottom of your feet and all areas in between, it makes perfect sense. By sticking needles in various parts of this connective tissue, you can change the electrical energy in the field and get various effects. Wherever there is connective tissue, of course, there's connective tissue throughout the body. So, connective tissue, cells and stuff have many of the same electrical properties as any electrical system will, as an integrated system, integrated chip, or an integrated processor, or a computer chip. Connective tissue has many of the same electrical properties as the computer chips that are in your hard drive. Connective tissue stores and releases little pieces of electricity, charges, if you will, ions, if you will, atoms. Connective tissue stores and releases quantum, tiny, tiny little bits of electricity electrical energy. We've said it's piezoelectric. Connective tissue piezoelectricity means that you can squeeze connective tissue or relax connective tissue and generate an electrical charge. This is what piezoelectricity is. Piezo means pressure. Piezoelectricity is an electrical charge or electrical conductivity that occurs in response to pressure or occurs in response to contraction and relaxation. So the connective tissue generates an electrical charge every time we move. Every time we move our arms or move our legs or contract or relax any of our muscles. And this ability to store electrical charges and release electrical charges allows connective tissue to function as a semiconductor. I'll tell you what I mean when we come back from our break. I'm Pharmacist Ben. We'll be back right after this. We're back on the bright side. Our number 855-660-4261. I'm Pharmacist Ben. Thanks for being here, folks. We are here Monday through Friday, 8 to 9 Pacific, 10 to 11 Central, and 24/7 on our archive page at brightsideben.com. This Wednesday, we're going to be talking, hopefully for the entire hour, with Robert Scheinfeld, who's written a whole bunch of really interesting books about health and wellness and money. He's got some interesting ideas about what he calls the holographic principle, using holography and some of the principles of holography for health and wellness and well-being in general. He's got a great series of books, a couple of books called Busting Loose from the Money Game, and one's called Busting Loose. Just great information. I'm really excited. I've been reading Robert Scheinfeld stuff now for going on 6 or 7 years. Made a big difference in my life. We'll be talking to him on Wednesday. For you guys who are in the Santa Cruz area, Santa Cruz, San Francisco Bay Area, I'll be doing a talk on March the 7th. That's coming up 2 weeks from this Friday, March the 7th, at the, what's it called here, the Vintage Church, I believe. That's in Santa Cruz, Vintage Faith Church, 350 Mission Street in Santa Cruz. That'll be March 7th. Registration starts at 6:30. We'll be talking at 7 o'clock, probably for a couple hours. Stay as long as you want. As long as you have questions, I'll be staying there. Usually I stay till about 9 or 10. Actually, I'll be talking till about 9, stay as long as you want, actually. And that's this coming up the first Friday in March the 7th in Santa Cruz. All right, our number 855-660-4261. We do have a couple lines open for you. Try to get on board early. We'll see if we can get squeeze in as many calls as possible. We're talking about connective tissue, all as it regards dividing the body up into its components. So when we treat the body, when we take care of the body, we know what we're addressing, and we don't rub stuff on the surface and hope to get changes in the connective tissue. That's how we started talking about this whole connective tissue nature of the body. 40% or so, 40 to 50% of the body is this connective tissue that functions as a huge computer chip. Connective tissue has many of the same features that an integrated circuit has. It acts as a semiconductor, which means it can store and release electrical energy selectively. This makes semiconductors and connective tissue an information processor. Semiconductors are information processors in your computer, and connective tissue in your body is a semiconductor. It's an information processor in your body. You've got this mass of connective tissue that functions as a computer, as an information processor. Not only is our connective tissue matrix an electrical field, it's also a big computer chip. How do you like that? 40% of our body is a computer chip, information storage device, semiconductor, integrated circuit, and even more. The connective tissue fibers in the cells are aligned in this precise and organized and regular pattern, which makes connective tissue fibers, by definition, a crystal. Not just any crystal, but a liquid crystal, because the connective tissue is liquidy. It's amorphous. It kind of changes shape. It's not a solid. It's not a liquid. It's a liquid crystal. A liquid crystal is a phase that's right between solid and right between liquid. A liquid crystal is a cross between a solid and a liquid, and it's one of nature's most fascinating forms. When systems are liquid crystals, they're not liquid, they're not solid, they're like a cross between a liquid and a solid. When they're a liquid crystal, they got really interesting properties, one of which is they can very effectively store and conduct electrical energy. Your cell membranes are liquid crystals. Each one of the 100 trillion cells of your body body is wrapped around with a cell membrane in exactly the same fashion that each one of the organs in your body is wrapped around with fascia. And in exactly the same fashion as a cell membrane, in terms of the cell membrane's ability to conduct energy, store energy, function as an information processor, the fascia that is wrapped around your spleen and wrapped around your heart and wrapped around your lungs and wrapped around all of the organs inside your body functions as a information processing semiconductor as well. Liquid crystal storage data, by the way, is the next big advance in the world of computer storage. The body's already mastered it. The body's been using liquid crystal storage, been using its liquid crystal storage capacity for millions of years. We're just discovering how to do it in terms of storage data, and the next CDs and DVDs and information storage devices are going to exploit liquid crystal technology. So you got this tissue, connective tissue. It makes up 40 to 50% of our bodies. It's a self-generating electrical system. It's capable of processing information at the tiniest of levels, the electron level, the quantum level. In essence, this 40 to 50% mass of our body is a quantum computer. The connective tissue quantum computer processor, and it integrates information like a computer, a biocomputer. You think that makes this connective tissue important? You better believe it does. Not only that, do you think that makes connective tissue building strategies important? You better believe it does. Anything we can do to build connective tissue, anything we can do to support connective tissue is going to support the electrical nature of the body, the information storage nature of the body, the semiconductor properties of the body. But over time, over the course of years and decades, over the course of the aging process, this connective tissue matrix becomes distorted. It becomes dirty. It becomes clogged. It becomes filled with toxins. It becomes starved. Now, given that we just spent the last 20 minutes or so talking about the information processing nature of connective tissue, we talked about the electrical nature of connective tissue, we talked about the electrical conductivity nature of connective tissue, we talked about the fact that connective tissue is like an integrated circuit. Do you think that when dirt and crap and toxicity and lack of nutrition and lack of oxygen starts to impact connective tissue, it's going to have an effect? You better believe it does. Have you ever seen how they make integrated circuits in factories? They have to make these integrated circuits in the cleanest of clean rooms. They got to wear masks and they got to wear booties. People who are working on these chips got to wear masks and booties and lab coats, and they got to be covered from head to toe, because just a little bit of breath that gets on an integrated circuit, just a little bit of dust that gets on an integrated circuit will destroy the electrical nature of that circuit. Well, what do you think happens to our body when we eat at McDonald's? What do you think happens to the integrated circuitry of the body when we eat a Big Mac? What do you think happens to the connective tissue, the electrical nature of connective tissue, the information storage capacity, the computerization, the integrated circuit nature of connective tissue when we go about our business eating fast food, sitting around, not exercising, not breathing, living a stressed out, contracted life? Of course, the connective tissue is going to become distorted. And when the connective tissue becomes distorted, that means a lack of electrical energy, a lack of information storage capacity. It means a dirty computer. In short, it means everything can go wrong, from arthritis to heart disease to cancer. And then we go to the doctor and we say, oh, I need a pill, I need a Motrin, or I need a Naprosyn. Or the doctor says, well, looks like you got an autoimmune disease. We'll just give you some prednisone. And nobody's going to be thinking about the distortion, the contraction, the lack of oxygenation, the accumulation of toxicity in this computerized connective tissue, in this electrical integrated circuit. So what do? Well, if you want to be healthy, if you want to support connective tissue health, there's lots you can do, starting with eliminating the stream of toxicity that gets into the body. All right, hang tight. We'll finish this up when we come back from our break, and take your phone calls as well. I'm Pharmacist Ben. 855-660-4261 is our call-in number. We'll be back after this. All right, we're back back on the bright side. I am Pharmacist Ben. 855-660-4261 is our bright side phone number. If you want to join the bright side Ben team, you can call our phone team at 866-735-2470 for a one-time $10 fee. You can start yourself a longevity business, make some money selling longevity products. You can make quite a bit of money actually selling longevity products and help spread the word about the power and the importance of a good nutritional supplement program. You can also get your products at the wholesale price, and you can also enjoy all the tax benefits associated with having your own business, including writing off your home office, writing off your products if you give them away as samples, or if you give any away as samples, writing off your stamps, your mileage, etc. You can find out all about it by calling the Brightside Ben phone team at 866-735-2470, 866-735-2470. Our number today on the bright side, 855-660-4261. We got a couple of lines open for you. We'll get your calls here in just a moment. I want to finish up a couple of things, just a couple more things talking about connective tissue. Tomorrow we'll talk about the relationship between connective tissue and skin. Connective tissue can be thought of as kind of operating system for the whole body. It integrates the entire body, head to toe, in the same way that your operating system integrates all the parts of your computer. The operating system in your computer integrates all the various programs and all the various things that your computer does. Connective tissue can be thought of as the same kind of idea, the same kind of system. It's like an operating system that integrates all the various parts of your body. Connective tissue that covers the various organs of the body is analogous to the membrane that covers all the cells of the body, and the computerized nature, the information processing nature of cell membranes, which we've talked about in the past, is analogous to the computer properties or the integrated circuit or electrical properties of the connective tissue. You guys, do you think that makes connective tissue important? You better believe it does, and anything you could do to support connective tissue health is going to be in your interest. And there's lots of things you could do to support connective tissue health, starting with good nutrition, starting with protein. Connective tissue is largely made up of protein. Connective tissue, like all tissue, is raisin bread-like. It's made up of little raisins and bread, except in the connective tissue or the nervous tissue or the epithelial tissue or the muscle tissue, we don't call it raisins and bread, obviously. We call it cells and stuff, or cells and extracellular matrix. And this combination of cells and extracellular matrix is largely dependent on protein, especially, I'm sorry, vegans and vegetarians, especially animal protein. I've said it before, I'll say it again. You can get everything you need, certainly, by being a vegetarian or being a vegan, but it's much, much harder. On the other hand, by eating connective tissue and by eating animal protein, you get the exact appropriate building blocks for building your connective tissue, for beefing up and strengthening your connective tissue. The amino acids that are found in meat and found in dairy are specific for building collagen and the various proteins that are found in connective tissue. And, by the way, the sugars, the long-chain sugars, polysaccharides that we eat, substances like high hyaluronic acid and the essential sugars that we've talked about in the past, those go to build up the matrix, the juicy sponge-like part of the connective tissue matrix. So connective tissue, which is electrical, is composed of cells and stuff. The cells are called fibroblasts, and building those cells up is a function of it involves the same kind of stuff that building all cells requires: nutrients, oxygen, and detoxification. And then building the connective tissue, the stuff around the cells, around the raisins, if you will, depends on having enough raw materials in terms of amino acids and protein, and in terms of essential sugars. You'll get these essential sugars in the Z-radical product. You'll get the amino acids in the glucogel product from Longevity. Certainly the Mighty 90 can help. And don't forget about vitamin C, which switches on the raisins that make the connective tissue. Vitamin C acts like a little trigger that activates the switch that turns on the production of connective tissue proteins. And vitamin A, by the way, is also very important. In fact, vitamin C and vitamin A are your two most important connective tissue building vitamins. And in addition to getting your sugary material, your polysaccharides from hyaluronic acid and from glucosamine and the glucogel caps and from bone soup, you can go a long, long way. In addition to, of course, making sure you're getting enough protein and absorbing that protein through the digestive tract, you can go a long, long way towards building your own computer, beefing up the computer, improving the information storage and information processing capacity of connective tissue, reducing the signs of aging, reducing wrinkles, and a lot of the visible signs of the aging process that we consider to be skin issues, but really, when you come right down to it, are connective tissue issues. Tomorrow, we'll talk a little bit more about nutrition, then we'll talk about how the skin and how healthy skin is associated with connective tissue, and then we'll talk a little bit about autoimmune disease. As it turns out, autoimmunity is intimately connected with connective tissue and connective tissue health, all as it regards, we've been talking about bone and bone building and protein. Bone, by the way, is an example of connective tissue, as is blood and the circulatory system. So when you, and the lymph for that matter. So building connective tissue also means building strong bone. It also means improving circulatory system health, and it also means improving lymphatic health, detoxification, and drainage of poisons. There's so much to talk about when it comes to connective tissue, and there's so much to talk about when it comes to good health. You guys see how this is not, good health is not a question of prescription drugs. We haven't mentioned prescription drugs once. There ain't a single prescription drug that you can use to improve connective tissue health. Not a single one. There's not a single surgical procedure. There's not a single device. There's not a single thing your doctor can do, any doctor can do, anything or anyone in the medical model can do to support connective tissue health. Yet, building and supporting the health and the viability and the strength of connective tissue may be, or it is certainly one of, and it may be the most important thing you could do to reverse and prevent the aging and degenerative disease process. We'll continue this discussion tomorrow on The Bright Side. Our number today is 855-660-4261. Time to take our first phone call of the day. Welcome to The Bright Side. Karl, the Truth Raider. What's cooking, my friend?
Good morning, Pharmacist Ben.
Good morning. How you doing, bro? I'm doing awesome. What's going on?
I have a burning idea that I had in my mind. Don't throw away that fluoride toothpaste and your aspartame packets just yet.
Okay.
There is an alternate use for them. You can take. Yeah, there's
getting rid of your ex-wife.
No,
I'm just kidding about it.
No genocide today. No. Okay. You could take the toothpaste and use it as a cleaner for all of your countertops in the bathroom, shower, bathtub, sinks.
Aspartame works? I can see. Really? Tell me about that.
The fluoridated toothpaste for the folks out there.
Oh, the toothpaste. Yeah.
Toothpaste and
that's
don't
right.
want to use it, you can do that. Now, the aspartame, your NutraSweet or your Equals or whatever you use, whatever brand product that you have, the little packets, you can take that and sprinkle it behind all your countertops, behind your refrigerator, in cupboards.
Doesn't kill ants, does it?
They hate the stuff.
Is that right? I didn't know that.
They won't touch that stuff because it's poison. They ingest that, and studies have proven that explodes their insides.
Are you serious? So aspartame is ant killer?
Yes.
How? I'm going to have to do some. I had no idea, Karl. Thank you for sharing that.
And
that's. Yeah, and it's cheap ant killer, right? I knew boric acid is an ant killer. I did not know that aspartame is. But fluoride, that's a really interesting point that you raised. You can actually use fluoride toothpaste for cleaning a lot of things. It's a great cleaner, not just for countertops, for cleaning little stuck particles between forks or on silverware. You can use it with a little toothbrush and kind of scrub sticky material out, because it's not so much the fluoride as it is the detergent in the toothpaste. But that's a great tip. Thank you so much for that, Karl. I appreciate it. Anything else you got, bro?
They'll leave your house minty fresh and smelling clean. Just don't put it in your mouth.
Thank you, Karl, the Truth Raider. Have a good day, buddy. Thanks for sharing that. I appreciate it, man. All right, I'm Pharmacist Ben. You're listening to The Bright Side. We're coming back right after this. We'll get your phone calls. 855-660-4261 is your number. Don't go away. We got more good health information coming at you right after this. All right, we're back on The Bright Side. I am Pharmacist Ben. If you want to join the Bright Side Ben team, please call the phone team at 866-735-2470. Tell them you want to be part of the Bright Side Ben team. Start yourself a longevity business, make some money selling longevity products, and join me in my mission to educate the world about the power and importance of a good nutritional supplement program. If you're in the Denver area, I'll be doing a talk for longevity at the Hyatt Regency on 15th Street this Thursday, the 20th of February. I'll be talking about the Beyond Tangy Tangerine 2.0. BTT has long been my favorite. The Beyond Tangy Tangerine has long been my favorite longevity product. I'm sipping on it as we speak. And now we have the Longevity Beyond Tangy Tangerine 2.0. I'll be doing a talk for an hour, 45 minutes or an hour on the BTT 2.0. So if you're in the Denver area, hope to see you. If you're in Santa Cruz or the Bay Area, hope to see you on March the 7th at the Vintage Faith Church in Santa Cruz. That's its registrations at 6:30 p.m. And then at 7 o'clock, I'll be doing a talk for probably an hour and a half, 2 hours, and staying as long as you need to answer all your questions. All right, 855-660-4261 is our number on the Bright Side today. Joe in Texas, what's going on? Welcome to the Bright Side.
How you doing? I'm just trying to see if I've been taking Centrum since about 30 years old.
Joe, I'm having a hard time hearing you. If you're on a speaker, can you get me off a speaker? I'm having a hard time. I heard you say something about Centrum.
Can you hear me now?
Yeah, a little bit better. Centrum. You said something about Centrum. What's your question?
Well, my question is, I've been taking that since I was 30, and now I'm 57. I mean,
okay.
I'm 56.
Okay.
And I wondered if it was safe to take those.
Well,
to take those.
Oh, it's okay. It's safe. What do you do for a living, Joe?
I'm a truck driver. I work with the school district, and
okay. Let me ask you something, Joe. If you wanted to get a job, would you work for minimum wage? Would you work for $6 an hour? Or $7 an hour?
Well,
I'm assuming. Okay, well, if you're happy with minimum wage, then you'll be going to be happy with Centrum Silver. Centrum Silver is the minimum wage of nutrition. So anybody who's out there who's happy for working at $6 an hour, who thinks that's all that they need, then they're probably going to be okay with Centrum Silver. Centrum Silver represents the minimum wage. Now, is the minimum wage that's like saying, should I work for minimum wage? Well, if you're not making any money, the minimum wage is great. $6 an hour is better than $0 an hour. And Centrum Silver is better than no nutrition at all. Absolutely. But for most of us, if you're not satisfied with minimum wage, if you don't want to work for $6 an hour, if you can't survive on $6 an hour, that's kind of an analogy of what it's like to try to survive from a health perspective on Centrum Silver. Centrum Silver and multiple vitamins in general, especially if you see them advertised on television, well, really just generally all multiple vitamins, are the bare bones, basic minimum wage of nutrition. They're important. Yes, if you're not getting anything, it's better than nothing, but you deserve way more than that, Joe. Everybody who has a body deserves more than Centrum Silver. No matter what you hear on the commercials, Centrum Silver is not going to provide you with the nutrition that you need, with the nutrients that you need to stay optimally healthy. They will provide you with the nutrition that you need to stay minimally healthy, to stay barely healthy, to stay healthy at the lowest levels of health. And if you're happy with that, that's great. But if you're not happy with that, if you want more and you deserve more, you need to get on something like the Mighty 90, a program that provides you with dense nutrients. Even the Beyond Tangy Tangerine will provide you with a more nutritional density than Centrum Silver. So if you want to use Centrum Silver, that's all well and good, but it isn't going to provide you with a whole heck of a lot of nutrition. Is it going to hurt you? No, it's not going to hurt you. It may hurt your pocketbook a little bit. I think it costs you about $20 a bottle or so. And for what you're getting, it's certainly not worth that. But it's not going to hurt you in terms of toxicity. It is the minimum wage. It's better than nothing, but you sure do deserve more. Get yourself on the Mighty 90. Use the Beyond Tangy Tangerine, the OsteoFX, and the Essential EFAs. That's what I would be doing. And if you want to throw in a multiple vitamin, use the Ultimate Daily, which is probably a lot better product than the Centrum Silver. That's just my opinion. Did that help you, Joe?
So you're saying I should use that tangerine?
I'm saying yes. Get yourself on the BTT in addition to the Centrum Silver, and then you probably want to throw in the Ultimate EFAs too, in addition to the Centrum Silver, because you're not going to get your essential fatty acids out of the Centrum Silver, or for that matter, out of the Beyond Tangy Tangerine. So there's 90 nutrients you need, 90 essential nutrients. We call them the Mighty 90. You're going to get some in the Centrum Silver for sure, but you're not going to get the dense amounts that you need. You'll get the bare bones basic, the minimum wage. It's like working for minimum wage. That's the best analogy I can give you. And I hope that helps, Joe. Thanks so much for your call. Appreciate it. All right, Jenna in Oregon, what is going on? Welcome to the Bright Side.
Hi, good morning, Ben. Thanks for taking my call.
Sure. How you doing?
I'm doing good. I love the BTC, by the way.
Thank you. I appreciate that. That's awesome.
Yeah. And I have two questions, pretty quick question.
Yes, ma'am.
The first one is for the dosage definition for the supplement. Like, for example, like magnesium glycinate. You always recommend like 2,000 to 2,000 milligrams.
Yeah.
So do you refer to like an elemental or do you refer
Yes. I'm not talking about the glycinate. That's a very good question, Jenna. Whenever you hear minerals, there's no such thing as just magnesium in terms of supplements. It's always magnesium carbonate, magnesium oxalate, magnesium glycinate. There's always a second word after a mineral. So same with selenium, same with zinc, and same with copper. All these minerals always have a second word. That's called the salt form, technically, if you're a chemist, but it's not really important to know that. So when we talk about 3,000 milligrams of magnesium, I'm talking about 3,000 milligrams of the magnesium part, not including the glycinate. Now, fortunately, most supplement manufacturers will tell you in parentheses how much magnesium is in there. And so all you got to do is read the bottle. But when we talk about zinc or copper or whatever we're talking about just the mineral, not including the second word, the oxide or the carbonate or the sulfate or the glycinate or whatever it is. We're only talking about the mineral. So 3,000 milligrams of magnesium glycinate means 3,000 milligrams of magnesium. Forget the glycinate. Okay?
Okay.
All right.
So, the second question is related to bone soup.
Yes.
You talk about the hyaluronic acid that's inside the cartilage, right?
Yes.
So it's good for, bodybuilding, connective tissue, all those stuff, cell division, everything, right?
Yeah.
But how do you balance it, for the intake of it for...
with the other sugars and all the other components?
No, for cancer patients. Because, cancer cells, they thrive in the hyaluronic
that's a very good, that's an excellent question, Jen. In other words, cancer cells use nutrients just like any cells do. Cancer cells use nutrients just like any cells do, except cancer cells are growing really fast, so they're using nutrients even faster than other cells. They're really burning through nutrients. So if you take hyaluronic acid, vitamin C, protein, whatever you're doing, your cancer cells are going to use them up even faster, correct? They're going to feed them. You're going to be feeding your cancer cells. Well, here's the problem. So some doctors will say, well, don't use supplements. You're just going to feed the cancer cells. And logically, that kind of makes sense when you first think about it. But the fact of the matter is, because your cancer cells are burning through your amino acids and your vitamins and your hyaluronic acid so fast, that means your other cells are going to be deprived and you're going to be even sicker. So yes, it's true that your cancer cells are burning through nutrients super duper fast, but the way I look at it, that means it's even more important that you get nutrition in a supplementation fashion, because you're going to be your other cells are going to be deficient because your cancer cells are stealing all those nutrients. And in fact, when it comes to deaths from cancer, we don't really die from cancer as much as we die from malnutrition, because the cancer cells are stealing, they're robbing nutrients from other cells. So if you're not supplementing, your cancer cells are using up all your nutrients. All the other cells of your body, the vast majority of cells which are not cancerous, are going to be vastly deprived of nutrition, and that's why it is important to supplement. That would be my answer to you, Jenna, how you balance that out. Does that make sense?
So do you suggest, sounds like you're suggesting, for cancer patients, they should take more,
everything.
More
everything.
Acid,
yes, except calories. More everything except calories. That's the one thing a cancer patient does not want to increase is their calories. A patient does want to increase nutrition. This is the so-called CRAN diet or CRON diet, which is the single most important anti-aging, age-reversing, longevity-inducing, disease-reducing strategies you could ever use. If you have an autoimmune problem, if you have cancer, if you have a degenerative disease, if you have an inflammatory disease, if you've got wrinkles, if you're aging fast, whatever it is, you absolutely 100% want to be using the CRON or CRAN diet, which stands for calorie restriction with adequate nutrition, or the calorie restriction with optimum nutrition. That means keeping your calories low but keeping your nutrients high. Best way to do that is to eat nutrient-dense foods like bone soup, like animal products, and to make sure you're on a good nutritional supplement program. That's my advice to anybody who's dealing with cancer.
And also reduce the intake of sugar.
Absolutely. Sugar and cancer.
Absolutely, Jenna. Sugar and cancer are soulmates. They go hand in hand. In fact, calories and cancer are soulmates. Calories represent heat, and cancer cells utilize energy and burn energy faster than any other cells of the body. So the more calories you're ingesting, that's really where the problem is. Cancer loves calories, cancer loves sugar, cancer loves acid, and cancer hates
oxygen. In fact, if you had to pick one thing to do to prevent cancer, I would tell you be deep breathing and oxygenation techniques. All right, if we left you on hold, I apologize. Give us a call back tomorrow. We'll get you first up. I'm Pharmacist Ben. Thanks so much for listening, friends. We will be back at you tomorrow with more good health information. Have a wonderful, awesome, beautiful day. We'll talk to y'all later. Bye for now.